Set up. Tear down. Set up. Tear down, basically. All right.
What does it mean?
Tear down, or like the bundle and scan. So you have work that's not sewing. This is sewing. This is getting ready. This is complete.
Yeah.
So I've got everybody has non-working time, right?
Yes.
So the fastest I could do, even if I did a bundle, this bundle, I'd have a bundle here, a bundle here, a bundle here, or a bundle here. So I'd have 80 pieces in process, right? Now, what would happen if I got some small cards in my room, I could do that, make it easier. Only the first and the last person have some non-sewing time.
Yes.
Everybody else is sewer. See how much you shrank the time? Now, how much stock do I have in process here?
18, and now we just...
It went from 80 pieces to 20 pieces. So the cycle time, how quickly something gets from the sewing room to the packing room shrinks.
It will reduce six time of...
It depends on if you do 4 people or 5 people or 7 steps. However, it depends on the number of steps that you split in between. So what they do is they do teams. They're not sewing the whole garment. And I don't know how much sewing goes into a bra, but it may be, tell me, if it's 20 steps or 50 steps or 15 steps. You may do it in 15 steps, so we do only 3 teams. So this group does this prep, this does that prep, and you try to balance the team totals where it takes a minute and a half for this set, and a minute and a half for that set, and a minute and a half for that set. So you actually begin to synchronize the teams handing things off. So think about miscellaneous: assembly, aging, packing. So if you do 3 teams or 4 teams, you want to try to group the team length where their time with a bundle is about the same. So as soon as I hand off a bundle, I'll have maybe 1 or 2 bundles here ready to go to the next team. No more. So that way I have a bundle here, a bundle waiting, a bundle waiting. And so your time between sewing room, cutting room, and packaging just shrinks. The work in process shrinks.
But I'm still concerned about the payment. If each operator doesn't scan the ticket, so you don't know how many pieces they done. And in textile industry, it's very important, the payment.
Well, the garment can't get through unless it was sewn. Somebody in that team sewed the garment. And so you balance what you pay the team, and everybody pretty much gets paid the same.
So if every worker have the same payment, you mean that? Every worker have the same.
So your hourly wage is about the same. Unless you say, okay, this person does a much higher skilled job, and so their pay rate, their base pay is a little bit higher. But that's factored into, the team will decide, okay, this is a highly skilled thing, that person gets paid, I don't know what's the average hourly wage? Or weekly, do you do it weekly wage or?
We have a we have 2 kind of wage. Means you base on the amount that worker do, and once you based on the efficiency of the line. So we have 2 kind of wage. So, and the payment you pay for each operation is the same, the minutes per. Maybe this operation you need 20 minutes to finish.
Yep.
So it may have more money than this operation should have 15.
Yeah, but the pay per minute is about the same. So if I total up, if you're working like a 10-hour day and you work the full 10 hours, whether I'm doing a 20-minute cycle or a 15-minute cycle, I've still worked 10 hours. And if I do 15-minute cycles, I've done a lot more 15-minute cycles. And my total of pay should be about the same as a person doing a 20-minute cycle. Yes? So, I mean, you're looking at efficiency. So you're saying, how quickly can they get it done? What would happen if we get rid of some of these steps?
You mean you should have you should have one time to.
So I unbundle it. The ticket starts, when it gets down here, the ticket's closed. This one person scans it, and it says, okay, it gives it credit for doing this step, that step, that step, and that step. That scan, instead of the scanning giving you credit for just one single step, the team gets credit for all of the steps in between. I mean, the troubles that they first came into is everybody's worrying about, it's going to affect my pay. And what happened? Yeah, it affects your pay. But once you learn how, it's almost like a soccer team. People learn how well somebody can do a job. The team says, well, wait a minute, you're really better at this operation than I am. And they switch around. And so the whole team can work faster. And yes, it did affect their pay. Everybody's pay went up. But they did it on a volunteer basis, and they did it as a pilot project in an area, just to learn how to manage the accounting side of it. So I can look at it from two different directions. One, the people are worried about getting paid. Well, the company is paying you for doing this work. Technically, you're not getting paid for this. So this is work that you're doing that's not getting paid for. And let me think of it from a factory standpoint. This is time I have a machine that I'm paying for, floor space I'm paying for. The machine's not working. So if I can get rid of some of these steps, these non-value added steps, these times that the machine is not running, then the volume of pieces that can go through these same machines goes up. So that's what I said. If you start looking at each of the operations, find out how much time is allocated for doing the unbundling, how much time is it to tie back up and scan. Maybe only a few seconds. But if you do, if you have, 15 seconds? 15-minute cycles. Is it 15 minutes per bundle? Is it that slow?
15, maybe 20 seconds for each operation.
No.
And
So if you do 20? Okay. So that's 3 a minute. So it's about 5 minutes a bundle. 5 to 7 minutes a bundle. So if it's let's just say it's 6 minutes a bundle, that means you can do 10 bundles an hour. If you do 10 hours, that's 100 bundles a day. So if it's only a few seconds, it doesn't sound like much. But in 100 bundles a day, 2 or 3 seconds times 100, that's like an extra 5 minutes a day of the machine running. That's an extra maybe 20 items, and you're still working the same length of time.
everything. you do like that, every worker have the same payment, so you don't have any.
In the team,
Yeah. So the worker didn't have anything to motivate them, because now the fact that every worker were paid for the operation, every operation has the different money. It will not have the same.
yep. So
Yeah.
you're saying if you're a team, nobody's motivated to do a good job.
Yes, because now when they do faster and faster, they can do the job of the other and get more money. You just scan the ticket on the machine and they get the bundle from the other. So now if you do like that,
All right. So that says, so that makes it really hard for you to balance the flow. So you may have one operation that has trolleys full of extra work that's ahead of everybody, right?
and if you like that, the ticket doesn't belong to the line, just belongs the first and the end person. So in the middle, the worker don't have a ticket to scan. So it's too difficult to calculate how many pieces they done.
Use the logic. If it went in the front door and went out the back door, it went through the house. There's no way to get it from the first machine to the last machine without going across the other machines. All those steps got done. Now,
But now the fact that one worker can do 2 operations or maybe more, they can do the bundle of the other to get efficiency, to get the ticket. So now, if the ticket doesn't belong to the line, they don't have a ticket to scan, to calculate the extra work, to get some payment. So they didn't want to try. They didn't want
are
to.
you sure that's just your opinion? Or is that a fact?
It's a fact. One worker can work other operation to get more money. If they do faster,
Oh, so they'll do all their work and then they'll go over and do somebody else's work and get some money as well? But if you think about trying to supervise and manage the production down the line, when you have this high variability between productivity, it's hard to balance and keep the flow going, isn't it? Now, what they said they found is you end up getting kind of team spirit of 5 or 6 women together sewing. And if one of them comes in not feeling well, everybody kind of helps out. You know, you're ill, or you're upset at your husband, or so it actually there was a more of a team spirit than everybody trying to fight amongst themselves to get the most money.
but how can you pay for the worker? You said that we have maybe 7 operations, but just have 5 workers. So one worker have to do 2 operations. Also, how you pay for them? How will you? Yeah. How much?
The team gets, so you take however many operations, any pieces in a bundle. When it gets completed, the team gets credit for doing all of those operations. Period. And it doesn't matter if I did 3 and you did 1. If both of us were working at the same pace,